Nintendo Switch 2 is already being gathered on retail, and some people are already leaking the box packaging and how similar it is to the OLED version. Call me crazy, but this packaging is far too similar and a bit confusing for the general public. I actually agree with this. Loads of people are saying, bro, how can you be that dumb? The text is right there. It says Switch 2 and that one says Switch OLED. Yes, but you are severely overestimating the intelligence of your average non-gamer public. You're most likely a gamer watching this video, so if you are a gamer and you want a Nintendo Switch 2 for Christmas or as a gift, you're just gonna have a lot of faith for your family members to get the right one. But if you don't have faith, just keep instilling the idea to them that you want cash for Christmas so you can buy them yourself. Nintendo fanboys are starting to get to my radar lately. Steam Deck would be useless without Nintendo emulators. No, because we have emulators for other consoles and we can play Steam games as well. It's so much inferior to the Switch 1, let alone 2. I don't know how you say it's inferior compared to the Switch 2, considering that it's not out yet, but saying that it's inferior to the Switch 1 is just straight up wrong. Cry about it! Exactly. You should cry on the face of genuine facts. PS1 library is better than the Switch library. Well, that's a matter of subjective opinion, but I can tell you this. You can play Switch games on Steam Deck through emulation, so even if the Switch 1 has a better library, the Steam Deck can totally play it. As you say, cry about it. We got plenty more gaming-related hooplas to discuss, but before we get to all that, if you liked the video so far, don't forget to click the like button, comment, subscribe, and leave some tips through any of these means, including the new YouTube channel membership, links below. I want to have a Steam Deck or a Steam Deck clone someday in the future. Typical Steam Deck user activity, to be honest. Apparently, the typical activity is playing Nintendo GameCube games. I mean, God forbid that people are playing great games in their system of choice, right? If it wasn't for Nintendo games, what would most of these people even be doing with that machine? Oh, I don't know, play Steam games? I mean, the name Steam is right there on the Steam Deck, and Steam has a pretty big library of games, a lot of which you can even buy at super cheap discounts. People pirate their games because they can. Most often, yes, but those people also tend to be really broke. Like me. They'll do it until the end of time no matter what Nintendo does, as evidenced by the Switch era. Yes, people do pirate on the Switch era. Think whatever you think of those people. That doesn't dismiss the fact that Nintendo games prior to the Wii U are straight up way too expensive. As far as what people can afford, if they're buying Steam Decks to emulate stuff, their price complaints are irrelevant. If you're talking about Steam games, you might make that argument, but the same cannot be said to GameCube games that can be over $50 or even hundreds of dollars, and it requires an original GameCube console. Nah, it's an ability issue. If there's a will, there's a way. If that's the case, then there will be way more pirates than there will be people who buy games, right? What kind of dumbass would resist the temptation of getting free games? Dumb bums are pirating a game as we speak. And why? Because they can. Yes, a lot of pirates pirate games because they can. That still doesn't dismiss the fact that piracy of games highlight a major problem in the gaming industry. Games of the past are now lost in time due to licensing issues or consoles that are no longer in production. Here's a misunderstood take about piracy. People pirate because they want to pirate. They don't care about preservation either. Wrong. Pirates do care about preservation. How do these pirates get these free games to begin with? They preserve the games by removing the licensing restrictions so that they're just pure software that can run on anything. Preservation is how they get those free games to begin with. Without piracy, no one will be able to run those games or apps in the future when the developers eventually take them off of stores. Like Spec Ops The Line, where you quite literally cannot buy the game anymore, or any Nintendo games where the stores are totally offline. People pirated Tears of the Kingdom 2 weeks before the game launch. Yes, they did. Whether it's right or not to pirate Tears of the Kingdom weeks before it was launched is up to debate. The fact is, Tears of the Kingdom is now preserved for the future generations in case 10 to 20 years from now, Nintendo decides to close down the Switch shop. And they will do that because that has happened plenty of times with any of their shops. Mario Galaxy 2 was heavily pirated when it was available on release. So what were these people preserving exactly? Super Mario Galaxy 2. No, seriously, they preserve Super Mario Galaxy 2. Where else can you play Super Mario Galaxy 2? If it weren't for those pirates, you cannot play Super Mario Galaxy 2 in any other consoles other than the original Nintendo Wii or the Wii U, because you can play Wii games on them. Both of which Nintendo discontinued. It's not even available on the Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Also, why does it matter when the pirates pirate the game? Are you saying that it's better for the game to be pirated way later? If pirates can pirate the game and preserve them right now, why not pirate them now? Because the game is still being sold? It's actually better that the game is being sold alongside the pirated copy. That way you can see how many people chose to buy the game and how many people pirated the game. And since Super Mario Galaxy 2 is pirated day 1 and Tears of the Kingdom is pirated weeks before, how are the sales of each of those games? Oh yeah, they sold like crazy. It's almost like people prefer the comfort and convenience of buying games rather than the dodginess of piracy. Pirates do steal games, and the morality of piracy is still something that are still up to debate. For certain people, it's definitely wrong. For others, just admit that it is stealing, and we're good. If you want to pirate games without having to pay them, or you simply can't afford them, then just say it. I won't judge you. Yes, I do pirate stuff because I am broke. Loads of people do. That's a pretty significant factor why they did. That doesn't mean I don't buy games or not go to the movies. There are definitely pros in buying instead of sailing the seas. Let's stop this noble grandstanding to justify stealing games. Bro, you can say that pirates are stealing games however you like, but the fact of the matter is, those games are saved and preserved by those pirates. Their preservation process is how they got those games for free to begin with. None of the big gaming companies have made the same amount of effort as these pirates do to preserve these games for the future, because that will require removing the licensing process out of those games and preventing them to get a cut out of it. They complain about how expensive the games are, but would drop $600 or more on a Steam Deck just to pirate games. Make that make sense. It does make sense, because games are not valued the same as hardware. The Steam Deck is a hardware that plays games. It's better to invest $600 on a Steam Deck that plays thousands of pirated games and discounted games than a $500 PlayStation 5 with, at most, 2 AAA games. There are plenty of reasons why people sail the seas for media these days that it's genuinely surprising that there are some people who don't know why people do that. I hope this comic illustrates that point perfectly. You freaking losers are still downloading rips in 2025? Yes, I totally missed the movie Sinners, even though I really want to see it, but I am way too busy. The same goes for Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, one of my most anticipated movies of this year, and it ends up being okay. Not great, not terrible, but a decent little conclusion to the saga at least. But if we're talking about new movies, I'm still going to hype Final Destination Bloodlines. I love that movie. That movie is awesome. Such a great comeback for a fan of the series such as myself. And you bet your ass I paid good ticket to see that. Look at these broke bitches big mad in the comments. Wow, how nice of you to make fun of people for being poor. If you really are that rich, I truly wish the government taxes you more. Speaking of taxes, let's talk about console gaming's well-known platform tax. What's the biggest scam in tech that has become widely accepted? Someone answered, requiring a subscription to play online games. I think of it more as a tax than a scam, but then again, some people think taxes are robbery, so your mileage may vary. At least all the 3 console manufacturers try to give some benefits of signing up online, like the ability to rent a select number of games. But otherwise, yeah, you really have to pay online if you're on consoles. The PC is still an option for all you guys who don't want this. So you'd rather waste 10 to 20 times more on a PC? 10 to 20 times is definitely hyperbolic. You can get a really good PC for less than $1,000. That's about 1.5 to 2 times the price of a console, depending on the region, availability, current pricing, etc. So you're definitely not paying 10 to 20 times. You can buy a $330 console. That cost will be able to play Grand Theft Auto 6 on day 1, whereas that overpriced PC won't be able to compete. That sounds great and all, but I don't think that console can play Burnout 3 Takedown on the PS2 and Deus Ex, my favorite game of all time, so your argument is invalid. Enjoy your overpriced $1,000 PC that won't be able to play GTA 6 until 2028. Enjoy taking 20 to 30 hours to beat the game, while we YouTube watchers get to know the whole story first before you do. You console fanboys really put GTA 6 in such a high pedestal. In 1 year, your PC will become a useless paperweight. Well, that's not true because I still have plenty of amazing games on my laptops, and while I don't have a lot of time for gaming these days, I can still use my PC to make videos clowning on your ass. Also, why scrub the Xbox version? That's incredibly petty. Go get a PS5 Pro right now and get ready for the biggest game launch in human history. Yeah, I don't need to get hyped for GTA 6. I can't wait to watch the cutscenes because honestly, that's all that I care about with GTA. Their gameplay is very vanilla as far as open world games go. I still prefer Just Cause 2. That's an awesome game that can run on anything these days. Don't worry, I'll be posting lots of screenshots and videos. I'm sure you will. Keep using GTA 6 as your cope, dude. I don't think it's gonna be that special of a game anyway. I guess you guys should support the devs. You might get a timely release. No, the corporations have to support the devs. We as consumers give corporations the money, but those corporations can do whatever they want with that money, including laying off game developers while the executives get some new cars to add in their garage. Console fanboys are really making things way more important than they really are. If PlayStation goes away, the gaming industry collapses. No, it doesn't. Take a look at places like China or any other places in Asia where gaming consoles like PlayStation do not dominate the market at all. The platforms that dominate the gaming market the most are the PC and mobile because everyone has a PC and a phone, but not everyone has a console. They're doing just fine without the existence of PlayStation. Both PlayStation and Xbox are shifting their priorities towards increasing the presence of their games in other platforms like the PC. Nintendo is the only company that tries to maintain their exclusivity. I'm sure they can keep that for the next 10 years if their Switch 2 is a smash hit. The same industry that puts food on all these clowns' tables. If by food you mean video games, the games that I love this year, 2024, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2099, and the year I was born, including the years before, don't really need PlayStation to make it happen. Their hate towards Sony or PlayStation has no rhyme or reason. No, there are plenty of reasons to not like Sony or PlayStation. Hate is a bit of a strong word to me because I don't actually hate PlayStation. I think they're capable of making really good hardware. I still think their DualSense is among some of the best controllers they have made. But they do make some questionable decisions that I often criticize, like restricting PSN to only a select few regions, which thankfully they've been rectifying, or at least try to, including on the upcoming Stellar Blade on PC, so good on you, PlayStation. Console fanboys really have to think twice before they challenge people. Can you build a PC for $650 that can perform better than a PS5 Pro? I can do better than that. This $524 PC that I build based on new parts that I get from the local store can play Deus Ex Game of the Year Edition. The PS5 Pro cannot play that game, therefore it performs better. End of story. No, seriously, you should really define what you consider running better than a console. If you're talking about raw performance, then you have to define which game would you aim for the PS5 Pro to run better than a PC. You have to define the resolution, the upscaling technologies, the target frame rates, frame times, etc. But I guess that'd be way too much of a discussion for your average console gamers, right? And that's all for the video today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you made it to the end, here's a cat. Before we close this video, huge thanks to all these wonderful sponsors. You are all fantastic. If you want to see your name among these legends, then check out the links below, just $1. And you have supported this channel a lot. Seriously, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.